Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tete a Tete with me, your host, Sir Kellison. Today, I have very important guests. I call them the political addicts. And we're going to discuss about a very important subject, given that we are celebrating Zambia's 61 years of independence. And the discussion is going to be bordered around the life, the legacy of one of the iconic son of the soil, the founding father of this nation. His name is Dr. David Kaunda. And to introduce my guests, I'll just, ask them to introduce themselves, their name, and just, what they do in brief. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you so very much. My name's Justin Mukuka Muntwenda, known as Hon Justin Mukuka. That's my name. Thank you so much.
Yes. Also, my name is Fredrick Siamunjo, and commonly known as Senior Counsel for Ngombe. I'm an aspiring candidate as Roma Wati Councillor, and also I'm a student of law.
Awesome. We're just going to go right into it. And this discussion is bordered around the life of David Kaunda. So, gentlemen, what would you remember Kaunda for as, the political addicts, as people who are, standing in this political spectrum?
Thank you so very kind. Friends, colleagues, on behalf of ZUSD, Zambians United for Sustainable Development, ZUSD. Today, we are remembering our icon leader, the vibrant leader, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Yeah, some of you know him as an icon, but to my side, I think Kaunda was larger than life. Because when you look at his NEC, the National Executive Committee, during his time in 1964.
Okay.
At that time, the vice president was Ruben Chitandika Kamanga. The Minister of Foreign Affairs was Simon Mwasakapwepwe. Minister of Labor Mines was Justin Musonda Chimba. Home Affairs Minister was Makias Mainza Chona. Minister of Agriculture was Elijah Atuka Karimutenda. Housing and Social Development was Hidden Singliswa Ubanda. Commerce and Industry was Narumino Mundia. Finance Minister was Arthur Wina. Local Government Minister was Sikota Wina. Health Minister was Munuka Munia Sipalo. Information and Post Office was Peter Matoka. Lands and Natural Resources was Simon Kalulu. Education Minister was Johnny Mpanga. Legal Affairs Minister was James Skinner. This was only the white man that Kaunda appointed was the Legal Minister.
Okay.
Yes. So when you look at Kaunda's ministry, the NEC that he created was based in I would say it was based not in division. It was based in a merit.
Okay, what makes you say so?
What makes me say so is that Kaunda didn't have that mind of saying, because you are coming from Western Province, we can't give you a job, we can't give you a ministry position.
Okay.
He believed in the merit. He believed in the people who are able to do things according to what is supposed to be done. Okay. That's what Kaunda believed. That's why when I said these appointments was based on the merit.
Okay.
Because he knew the people he can trust to work with. That's what I can say.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, highlighting the leadership structure of Kaunda and how that speaks on him not being tribalist, which is a very, hot topic right now. On my other side, what would you remember Kaunda for?
Yeah, thank you very much, Kerison. That's a brilliant question. You see, Kaunda was a very disciplined young man when he was growing up. And that's a route which me, as a young political leader who was aspiring into political position, I would like to also try to see how his ways of life were like. Now, coming to Kaunda had a heart of humanitarian, a heart which was, because when you see, Zambia got independence in 1964.
Okay.
And they talk of other countries like Southern Rhodesia, which is today called Zimbabwe, talk of Nyasaland and so forth, talk of South Africa. Okay. Those people were coming to Zambia. They were accommodated here in Zambia. Some were even accommodated in the state house.
Okay.
Kaunda was a very humble man. Kaunda wasn't a man of prestige. No wonder he died with a few less dollars in his account, because he wasn't a corrupt leader. He was a leader of dignity. He was a leader of maturity. He was a leader who had a heart for the people, because I can say during independence, during the struggle of civilization here in Zambia, independence, we couldn't see, yes, we know that there was bloodshed, but in that matter, we can't say much, because according to history, Kaunda fought in a dignified way. No wonder is very respected up to date. No wonder in his cabinet, you even see this one of the legal affairs today can be called the Chief Justice, the one who's the legal affairs, is the Skinner. He was a white man, James Skinner, the only white man in his cabinet. So it shows that the big man had got a heart, same as me also, who has got a heart for this community, who has got a heart for the Roma, for the people of this community.
Okay, interesting. You are now talking about, yourself in comparison to Kaunda. Somebody would say that Kaunda was somebody who wanted to cling into power, because 27 years of being in power is not a joke. So what would you take about that, Mukuka, regarding his political life and his, governance structure? So in relation to him ruling for 27 years.
Okay. On that one, I would say during the time of Kaunda in 1964, there were a few who were being learned at that time.
Okay.
So that's the reason why he had that capacity to run the country at that time for 27 years, as you have said, because at that time, learned people were the few.
Okay.
That's why he managed to handle his position with 27 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Earlier you alluded to regarding the cabinet. Now, like I said, one of the hottest issues is tribalism. People are accusing the current president and the previous president that have taken, office in Zambia to being tribalism. They only select people based on a certain tribe or maybe location. So when it comes to Kaunda, how would you compare him with the past leaders that have ruled Zambia when it comes to tribalism? How was he able to make sure that everybody was accommodated?
Okay, that's an interesting question.
Okay.
And it is also a judgmental question.
Okay.
Because what we are looking at is the nitty-gritties.
Okay.
What Kaunda has done so far.
Okay.
And what the current regime they are doing and the previous regimes.
Okay.
So on that one, I can leave it to the Zambian people. They know who was the best president, and they know who is going to be the best president. Okay. So on that, to be fair with your question, I would say I can't compare Kaunda with any president. Because when you look at Kaunda's regime, he managed to create industries in Zambia, not only in Lusaka, but all around the country. So I can't compare Kaunda with any president or the previous regimes, because when you look at Kaunda's regime today, it's the best regime ever. You see, why am I saying this? Kaunda started things from the scratch.
Okay.
Ng'olipanganda wapula efumo, and then bakutakatira omwana kashuulya baye bati umwana kashuwapera efumo parakuleetera. You know, life becomes very difficult because you need to start looking where you're going to take that woman whom you've pregnanted. You need to start thinking when this child inside the home, when it gets born, where am I going to take this child? You need to start thinking about it. So Kaunda started Zambia from the scratch.
Okay.
So at that time, life was very difficult. But he managed to come up with the companies. He managed to come up with Indeco. We had Inteco. We had also Katesh, Texas. We had also Zambezi. So we had also Livingstone Motor Assemblies, Choma Milling, Zambia Book Product, Nakambala Sugar Estate, Kafue Textiles, Zambia Concrete Limited, Lenko, we had Lamis, we had the also Namboard, which is similar to FRA. There are a lot of companies that Kaunda left.
Okay.
And he said, I want these companies to be run by the Zambian people, because he believed that giving a white man a bigger position to run companies, it means Zambia hasn't yet got the independence. So I can't compare Kaunda with any president. Kaunda was an icon leader. Kaunda was larger than life.
Okay, that's a great observation there. One would say that even the previous regime after Kaunda, they also started companies. For example, I will talk about the United Capital Fertilizer, which is a plant which was just recently commissioned by President HH. So when it comes to companies that are actually doing things, even other leaders are doing. So what makes Kaunda's companies unique as compared to the ones that are coming up?
The answer is simple. All the companies were being run by the Zambian government,
okay,
not the private sector. How can you give food production in the hands of private sector? Are they going to reduce the price of minimum? The answer is no, because they are capitalists, they are here to make money. Now Kaunda, he gave the food production in the hands of Zambian people. That's why at that time, people used to get a bag of meal using a coupon for free. Today, that can't happen, and it will never happen.
Because I would say that different economies, by then the economy was run by the government. Now it's a capitalist economy. So when it comes to capitalist economy, there is a lot of initiative, efficiency, and compared to that, those days people used to queue to just buy a bag of meal. But right now everybody is buying, can go at a shop, can timber outside and buy meal and buy whatever they want, because it's a free market economy. So then maybe that's why Kaunda might have fallen. How do you think that can be brought into light even in this time, so that people get things easily? At the same time, they also are able to have the economy be run by Zambians without the foreigners taking control.
On that one, we need to come up with the proper policy.
Okay.
The policy that the government should put in place, which will be able to give the access to the Zambian people to run their own businesses and to do what they can do. Because when we give all these industries and all the companies, the mines, to the private sector, we are not going to achieve what we want to achieve.
Okay, awesome. Coming to you, Fredrick, we are talking about the economic reforms of Kaunda. What's your take when it comes to Kaunda's economic philosophy and how that benefited the Zambians by then?
Thank you very much for that one, because looking at the economy under the regime of KK, I can say, just as you may see, he used to carry his handkerchief representing white, meaning the economy by that time, though we had to experience some hardship due to the fact that he was assisting, because he was a Pan-Africanist, meaning the focus was trying to also help other countries like South Africa and also Zimbabwe to gain independence. So the economy by that time was a bit in shambles, but I can say it was for the purpose of maybe to the Zambian people to suffer, but it was on the benefit of the African continent. It was the benefit of Africa, because he had the mind of Pan-Africanism. So coming back to this, the question that you phrased, saying that the philosophical point of view of KK during his regime, during his tenure. So KK had a mindset of leadership in a way that he wanted the Zambian people also to participate, to make make Zambia to become the food basket of this continent.
Yes.
He did that in achieving by making sure that in his cabinet, he made sure that there was no any form of discrimination.
Yes.
He never looked at senso chaka pamenso, no, like alangana pamenso, who maybe this one is Tonga, this one is what. No, he had no racial discrimination whatsoever. He was based on merit. He was a man of dignity, and he was a man who used to believe in collective working. He never used to believe in pompous. So we can utilize you can get the spirit of KK and also utilize in this 21st generation, because looking at now, the things are okay. Looking at now, things are advanced. We are in the 21st century, Kellyson, and looking at the situation, we've got this AI, we've got artificial intelligence, we've got machinery. By that time, we used to rely on manual work. So the economy was quite hard, but we tried this level best to make it stable for the Zambians people.
Okay, you're mentioning something like the economy was stable by then.
Yes.
Because the population of Zambia was low by then, was very small. Someone would say the population was small. That's the reason why the people would have. But now the population has grown. There are more people, and it's very difficult to bring in some of those things that Kaunda brought in. So now I'll pose a question to Mukuka right there. What went wrong, and what will ZUSD do to ensure that this type of economy and system that Kaunda was running can be brought back, or something similar, so that the economy can be in track?
That's an interesting question. I like that. What we are supposed to do as Zambians, we need to go back to the drawing table.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get the best practices that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda left.
Like what?
Industries, companies.
Okay.
The mining sector was run by the Zambian people. Now, what we need to do, but the first thing I'm going to touch on the agriculture. I'll touch on the agriculture because this is what is very important.
Okay.
Yes. What we are supposed to do as a country, we need to come up with the creation of state farms in each and every province. And let these state farms to be run by the Zambian people. Not what we see, what is happening in ZNS, Nabadi Mevara, so Amataba, they will be selling at 150. That's not sustainable. The government should come up with a strategy of starting making state farms.
Okay.
Under Chairman Mao in China, he said, before we make a simple car, let us concentrate on food production. Under Roosevelt in America, they said, before we go to the moon, let us concentrate on food production. Today, when you look at China and America, they are food sufficient. So these are the things that we must put into consideration, not rhetoric.
Thank you. So you are saying, Zambians being in charge of the economy. Someone will say Zambians, perhaps they may not have the economic muscle to run industries. That's the reason why we are bringing foreigners to run some of these companies. What's your take on that? How can we ensure that the Zambians, and also touching on the ZUSD manifesto, what would you ensure that the Zambians have the necessary capital to run the industries, and also the technocracy in the industries? They need a lot of people that are educated. So how would you tackle that as ZUSD?
Thank you very much. What we are going to do first as ZUSD, we'll make sure that we give an opportunity to the Zambian people to run their own business. How are we going to do this? If you can recall, during the time of Levy Patrick Manawasa, we had citizenship allowance. We will bring that citizenship allowance back to the Zambian people. Why do we still have the natural resources and the Zambians doesn't benefit from that? So what we are going to do, we'll revamp all the companies. We are not going to say that we'll send out those who are private sectors to their own countries. No. We'll work with investors who are legitimate, who are ready to work with us. because we are not going to work with someone who doesn't understand our philosophy, someone who doesn't understand our system. We want these companies to be also benefiting the Zambian people. Now, the first thing that we're going to do in order to make the Zambians benefit in these companies, we are going to introduce tax credit to the companies.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. We'll give tax credit to different companies.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. You can also answer the same question, being, an aspiring candidate and a member of ZUSD. So what are you going to do with regards to the economy?
Yeah, so with regards to the economy, what we do when we form office next year on the 13th of August 2026 is quite simple as drinking water, because it is just simply involving the citizens, letting them, because right now as we're talking, it's a different thing if you compare the times of Kaunda and now, because by then we never had knowledge at the fingerprint. We never had knowledge at our disposal. Now we've got people who are learned, we've got people who are educated in our community. Those are the people who have made it. Talk of Roma what? Talk of Roma. We've got people who have made it in life. Those are the people who are going to invite also to sponsor some of the project of the young people of the community. It can be, yes, we are glad that there is free education, but also we must put into consideration the fact that looking at the situation at hand, we say in Cassis we don't have a market. So what are we going to do? Let's say maybe the government doesn't have money. So we have people who have made it. We have people who are in diaspora. We are going to invite those people one by one. We've got colleagues who have made it out there, who are learned. The community has embraced them. There's a proverb which says it takes a community to raise a child. So it takes a community for me to be raised. I was raised by Roma, I was raised by Ngombe. So it takes a community to raise people like me. So if I make it, I need to contribute to the community. Same applies to those people. We've got people like Ridi and Jove who are in the US. Those are the people, but even a 50 cent can work. It can help.
Just a moment, Fredrick. I want you to touch you being a law student.
Yes.
And Mukuka here as a national youth chairperson of ZUSD and aspiring MP for Mandevu. I want you to talk about how are you going to ensure, because when you look at Kaunda was a man that embraced the international community. How are you going to ensure that you hand the economy of Zambia into the hands of Zambians without violating the international law? Because international law states that it's a global economy, is free to invest in a particular country. So if you take away the companies from them, it means you are going to violate some of the principles. So there's no way Trade Kings, or it's owned by Zambians, but it's just an example. If it is owned by foreigners, you take it and put it in the hands of the Zambians without you violating the international laws. They also have laws to protect them. So how are you going to ensure that you foster unity just like Kaunda did and hand over the economy of Zambia to the Zambians? Maybe Mukuka, Mtali, you can...
We'll come up with a structure.
Okay.
That's why I said this structure of giving tax credit to the companies, it's going to help the Zambian people to be employed in different companies.
Okay.
Now, how are we going to do this? Or maybe I said, how does this tax credit going to work?
Okay.
This tax credit, we'll give it to the companies.
Okay.
When it's a platform, it's going to be a platform.
Okay.
Where if you are running a company, you come and apply. You said, okay, I want you to reduce the corporate tax to my workers.
Okay.
Because, for example, some of us where we are working from, they will deduct maybe 2,500 or a 2,800 as pay as you earn, the corporate tax. Now, when we give this tax credit to the companies, we are going to tell them, if we employ more than 200 people at ShopRite, we'll give you a tax credit, where you'll be paying 25% tax, corporate tax, to ZRI, so that you can employ a lot of workers at your working place.
Okay.
And you know that that ShopRite can operate 24/7.
Okay.
Because we will give them a tax credit. Instead of them paying 4,200 per an individual as corporate tax, they will be paying 25 kwacha, 30 kwacha. And they
Will
employ
that
someone.
hinder the economy? Because, of course, ZRA gets the money to run the economy from
Which economy are they
companies.
running? Which economy?
Of course,
Things
there
have
are
continued
roads.
from 1964 to date. Well, now where do that money go from?
Of course,
quite
they're
right.
making
Here we have
roads.
civil servants.
They are paying civil servants.
They depends on that money.
Yes.
But how much do NAPSA make? How much do ZRA make every month?
Because why I'm saying this, Mukuka, look at Zambia has been borrowing from International Monetary Fund and the World Bank because we don't have enough money.
We have enough money within ourselves.
If you take away the tax which
we're not going
which
to
these
take away,
companies
but
will
we'll
be paying,
reduce the tax.
that is going
Today,
to favor
Zambians, they are paying a lot of tax. Even betting, making a simple betting, they'll deduct 10%. A simple betting.
So are you suggesting that someone in ZRA is stealing money?
I can't say so, but there is corruption and people are able to see what is happening.
Okay.
Yes.
So we are saying
we are not going to say we'll get rid of all this corporate tax, but we are going to reduce it. Because the companies
are increasing it so that the government can have enough
How
revenue.
when we increase it, then people will still have unemployed people in the street. So why can't we give a tax credit to the company so that they should employ a lot of people? Instead of them paying a lot of corporate tax. So we'll give them a tax credit so that we reduce the corporate tax. Instead of them paying a 4,500 as a corporate tax to one worker, they'll be paying 30 kwacha, 50 kwacha.
Okay.
Then that 4,600, they will be able to pay for someone as a living wage.
Okay.
That's what they're going to do.
Well,
because today you find that you, Kerrison, you are getting 2,500 every month, but the tax that you are paying, it's more than what you get as your salary. So is it sustainable?
To me, it's not, but it is for the better of the economy.
Which economy? Which you can see.
The Zambian economy,
there's still a crisis. So which free education?
Of course, there is right now.
There is. It's just on the word of the mouth.
Well, people are not paying.
How do you introduce free education when you haven't even built one classroom?
So are you by any means suggesting that the free education is not working, it's not there, it doesn't make sense?
It makes sense to those who are benefiting.
Who are the Zambians, of course?
They are the Zambians, but they are the few.
Okay.
You can only come up with such idea when you create the infrastructures. You build schools. You build university, you build colleges, then you introduce free education. Now today go in the class of grade 9 pupils. They are congested.
Okay.
There are more than 95 in a classroom.
Of course, the government is trying using the CDF to create more classroom blocks so that to accommodate the increase. It shows it's a good thing because now it has opened the eyes of the state and everybody else saying that there's actually a need of more schools. So don't you think that's a good thing at the moment that classes are packed up?
It's a good thing if the government were able to use local government, not CDF. CDF, it's a failed agenda and it has to be removed. Can CDF develop the local government? The answer is no. During the time of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in 1964, the local government was the largest employer in Zambia. But today, the local government was the richest institution in Zambia. But today it's the poorest institution in Zambia because CDF has taken over the local government.
So in comparison to KK's time, are you by any means suggesting that you want to take back Zambia from the mixed economy to a one-state economy, the economy that is run by the state? Because from what you are saying, it means local government was being well funded because the government was the one in charge of schools and everything. But right now they are private schools. That's its economy. It's a free market economy, which means there's a lot of capital. Are you suggesting by all means you take Zambia back to 1964 when we didn't have
These
the
are
free
the
market
best
economy.
practices that I'm giving. I'm not saying that we want to take back Zambia during that time of KK. That's
Okay.
not what I'm saying.
Okay.
But these are the best practices that I want to put in place.
Okay.
Because at that time, go in America, go even in Nigeria, just here nearby in South Africa, there's no CDF. There's local government. It's world structure. CDF was not even put into audit. It was not subjected into audit.
Okay.
Yes, because someone came up with CDF. Maybe someone drank cachaso and said, we want to introduce CDF. Was there any critical research? Maybe it's the University of Zambia who came up with CDF. Go in America, go in the United Kingdom, there is local government.
Okay.
You can only give the 4 basic needs of a human being in the hands of a local government, not in CDF. CDF, it's a white elephant in the house and it has to be removed. The moment ZUSD formed the government, we'll make sure that we remove CDF and we put local government in place.
All right, thank you so much for that. That's very interesting. I'll talk to you, Fredrick, regarding the CDF. You know, there's something called cash for work, which is under the CDF, and a lot of people are benefiting. Taking it from your colleague, he's saying ZUSD, you are planning to remove the CDF and introduce local government. You know, what's your take when it comes to the benefit of CDF, such as cash for work?
You see, Mr. Kilson, when you talk of CDF, Constituents Development Fund,
yes,
you see, so the question to ask ourselves as citizens of this country, as the youths of this country, is that where is it coming from? And the question is that where is also the local government? Why isn't it called the local government fund? Or why is it called the Constituents Development Fund? The question itself must also, I want us to also reach at the point whereby we think in ourselves, because you see, you can't say cash for work, you are paying the citizen, yet you have got a mindset of trying to employ. So these are the issues that we need to put in consideration. When you talk of a CDF, it has come to sideline the local government. So we are not saying it is a bad thing, and not saying it's a good thing. But we're saying we can also improve as ZUSD. We can say, let us uplift the local government. The local government must be put into consideration because it has been sidelined. And we are seeing what is happening now. There is chaos. Looking at Roma ward, in our ward, there is a full of confusion because people have worked and there's no money. And they're saying CDF. And there's no any single youth whatsoever who has collected that CDF loans or grant. You can't say that the youths of Roma, they are satisfied, they are happy.
And this is the project.
Let's be factual, gentlemen, because the idea is there are statistics. There are people that have actually collected CDF fund grants and all that, and the people have been paid cash for it. If you go in the villages, on the ground, you hear people have gotten.
But we're talking about Zambians.
I'm talking about Zambian, but Zambia is not a village.
It's not a village.
Zambia, it is a collective of different provinces.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm speaking of from
Zambians.
the perspective of Romawat and also from the perspective of Lusaka.
Okay.
CDF in Lusaka, CDF in some part of the provinces here in the urban areas. It is a pocket money of MPs. It is a pocket money of councillors. CDF is not working. People they've worked. Talk of Roma, here where we're coming from.
Could you give the statistics?
The statistics, the information is there on the public. People are saying, are complaining. They're seeing me as an aspiring candidate. They say, yes, we've got our mothers and brothers and sisters who have worked, they haven't yet gotten paid. And you're asking the councillor saying, we're going to pay you. So cash for work, I would have recommended it to say that if you immediately after you work, you get your money, not the procedure. Because the people when voting, there's no any other long procedure. You say, right now, you say voter registration, go register yourself. A short procedure. Yet when the citizen, they want to access their right of maybe trying to contribute to the country by voting, there's no any long procedure. Yet when it's the government that has been voted into power, the same individuals who have voted in, They are creating long procedures on how to acquire, to access the funds that they promise their own people. So what I'm saying right now is that I would prefer I would prefer that if we form office next year, being the councillor for Romawat, I would prefer that the local government should also take over. The local government should also be mentioned.
Okay. So anyway, we are commemorating the.
Just adding up on what my brother said.
Okay.
Cash for work. It's a white elephant.
Okay.
Why can't you introduce citizenship allowance?
And could you please explain what a white elephant is for some viewers that are here?
It's a word of form.
Okay.
It's a word of form.
Okay.
Yes. They are just lying to the Zambian people.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, such mentality of cash for work, CDF and whatever, it's for the small brains and the small minds.
Okay.
Why can't you introduce the citizenship allowance, which is going to benefit every Zambian, instead of introducing cash for work, which is just working in the rural areas?
Well,
because me, I haven't benefited that cash for work.
Because you have not gone there to work. The president, when he was
no,
taking
it's not
office,
about that.
The president, when he was
people
taking
are
office,
going to work that side, but still they can't get paid. How am I going to go that side to work when I know that I won't get paid?
No. The people have gotten paid. I have been talking to them.
Few.
And when the president was taking office, I said there will not be handouts. Someone has to wait for them to get. So people, if they don't
now
subscribe,
is that sustainable?
Well, it's very sustainable.
Can that change the life of the Zambian people?
Well, it is contributing. It's not about changing, but it's contributing. Now,
listen, Kerison. ZUSD believes in transforming.
Okay.
If you can't transform the life of the well-being, then what are you doing as a leader? You are doing nothing.
Okay.
You are doing nothing. Because you need to come up with deals or the agenda to give an opportunity to the Zambian people whereby when you work, you'll be put on the pensionable service.
Okay.
So that when you reach at the age of 65, you'll be able to step your foot on the ground.
Okay.
Those are the things that we must put into consideration, not rhetoric.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. That is ZUSD, and these are the things that are coming from what ZUSD would implement. Now, let's get back to the meat of the subject. So we're talking about the legacy of KK. And one of the things was that those days, when you just complete school, you would find a job readily available. So what did KK do well that ensured that there are adequate jobs for the people? And what can the current regime learn from that so that there is sufficient jobs? Because there's a very high youth unemployment in the country right now. So what did KK do to make sure that there are jobs for everybody? And what can the regime, current regimes, and perhaps the future regime and ZUSD will do to ensure that there is adequate jobs for the people? Any of you can step in.
All right. That's a very good question. Kaunda was not just an icon.
Okay.
He was incredible.
Okay.
The first thing he trusted is NEC, the National Executive Committee.
Okay.
Because he knew that these people that have appointed, they will make sure that the Zambian economy is going to be stable.
Okay.
And we saw that happen. We were not there, but the history, we are able to read what the history is saying.
Okay.
We are not there, but the history can be able to tell us what used to happen at that particular time.
Okay.
So the first thing what they did, they knew that people, when you finish grade 12, you need to have a job. They created companies.
Okay.
Different companies. Talk about the Mansa battery manufacturers, because there in Mansa there is manganese. Kaunda will be able to tell us, okay, we have these minerals, and we are going to use these minerals as a comparative advantage to make sure that our economy is stable. And he did that. Why we, the younger generation, can't we get the best practices to what Dr. Kenneth Kaunda left?
Okay.
We must, you know, in Bemba we said, Amano Mambo. Knowledge we learn from different people.
Okay.
Why can't we learn from Kaunda? And that time of KK, when you look at the Zambian economy, was just the same with South Korea.
Okay.
And today Zambia was supposed to be the richest country in Africa.
Could you justify that?
Because we have a smaller population and we have immense of our natural resources. But today we are celebrating our icon leader, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, and we are still living in shambles. We are still living in poverty. When we have the natural resources, we can convert those natural resources into financial resources.
How? Could you please tell the Zambians out there how ZUST is going to work around turning those mineral resources into financial resources?
Do you know that Zambia is standing as the richest country here in Africa when it comes on the water bodies?
Okay.
But today, we are the same people who still complain about food. We always said, oh, there's drought. There's drought, there's no rain and whatever. But we have a lot of lakes, we have a lot of rivers. Why can't you use those as a comparative advantage to create state funds? We can kill two birds with one stone.
Okay.
But it's because of the mentality and the leadership that we have. So it's all about the leadership.
Okay. So I want Fredrick, as somebody who is exposed to the law, to maybe touch on this. People say Kaunda was a dictator because you don't argue. There was no freedom of expression. Those are what some people say. Not everybody, but some people say that. When you are found talking against the government, you'll be arrested. Now, I know you mentioned about not comparing regimes, but I want you to touch on that. How did Kaunda, structure his legal and also freedom of speech environment for freedom of speech, so that in the country Zambia is morally standing when it comes to the legal processes? And how can that be applied in this time?
Yes, I think on that one, I can help my brother.
Okay.
Yes, he's going to add up. During the time of Colonial,
Okay.
our colonial masters, Zambians used to bow down before them.
Okay.
If you didn't, they'll take your liberty. Our forefathers were beaten with shambokos. Some of them were being in prison. Now, what happened in 1964 when we got the independence? We continued with the same system of the rule of the man.
Okay.
What do I mean by the rule of a man? A rule of a man is where you are answerable as an individual to someone who is in the power of the authority, who is the president.
Okay.
So Kaunda adopted the same system,
Okay.
which were being used against us from the colonial masters.
Okay.
That's the system that we adopted, where it will give too much power to the person who is opposing.
Okay.
When you look at article number 92, there it gives too much power to the president to appoint permanent secretaries, judges, talk about the chief justice. I'm talking about the three organs of the state.
Okay.
Judiciary, the executive, and also the legislature.
Okay.
That's why today you find that you have a minister who is also a member of parliament. What is the role of a member of the parliament? Is to make laws which is going to hold the minister accountable when they steal.
Okay.
But today we have ministers who are holding two positions. They are also members of the parliament. They are making laws which are able to protect them.
Okay.
So what we need to change is the system. Kaunda did the best that he can do,
Okay.
but he didn't touch the system. The system is just the same. The way he used to arrest people when you talk against him, this is what is happening even right now. As I'm speaking right now, some of the people, they'll start following me. Some of the people, they'll start following you. Some of the people, they will start following my brother, Mr. Siamunjo. because you've mentioned something which is against them. This is what is happening. Look at Shimba Kambwiri. Look at all those, the GBM's guys, those who are in prison. It's because of the same system that we adopted from the colonial masters.
So did Kaunda change that?
It didn't change. That's why we are here. At that particular time, few were learned enough to understand.
No, you talk about the constitution being amended. It has been amended about 3 times.
Yes.
And did that work on the system?
It didn't. The system is just the same.
Okay.
We don't have stronger institutions, we have stronger men. Our constitution, yes, the constitution, it's a social document. It's a social document because it's a document which is supposed to give freedom to the government and also to the people.
Okay. All right. So I will let you, from what you have said, could you elaborate further?
Just to add on to what Honorable Mukuka said, our National Youth Chair, I would say, looking at it on the legal point of view, because as a law student, I would say, during Kaunda's time, we had quite a number of constitutional review commissions. We had the Chora Review Commission, which was in 1972.
Okay.
And it advocated for, it established a one-party state rule.
Okay.
Yeah, by that time. Then we had also the, we had almost quite a number of review commissions by that time, till the 1991 Constitution, the establishment of 1991 Constitution. Now, talking of constitution amendment system, because during Kaunda's time, there was a mass protest by the trade unions and also by the students,
okay,
saying that you want multipartyism instead of democracy. And why is it like that? Because you can say by that time we never had learned people apart from those white settlement.
Okay.
It would mean by that time, it would mean that the same people coming back to power. So Kaunda tried to fight and fight. That's the reason why when those grade 12 finish education, they would be sponsored to University of Zambia. Others, they would be sent abroad to go study. Okay. Because to acquire such knowledge, because we had the few prominent lawyers by that time, the talk of the likes of Dr. Mainza Chona by that time, the talk of Manakat, we talk of all these people. As compared to now, because now we've got a lot of people who are equipped with legal knowledge. Same as me, as a law student, at least I'm able to speak something on the law, because at least knowledge now it is at our disposal. By that time, it was very hard for Dr. Kaunda to make at least to make it better for the Zambian people to understand the democratic principles. Yes, he was a man of dignity, he was a Pan-Africanism, he was a humanitarian person. But when it comes to this issue of democracy, it was a bit shrinking, we understand by that time, because he was just an ordinary teacher. Yes. And you can't expect a teacher to occupy a knowledge as a learned counsel.
Do you think in the time of Kaunda there was rule of law?
No.
As compared to now?
No. From 1964 to date, we have been using the same system of the rule of a man. There's no rule of law in Zambia.
That's a bold claim when you say there is no rule of law. Then what are the courts? What is the judiciary for?
They are all workers. They are workers.
And they're supposed to keep the man accountable, especially the ones that are holding power.
Yes, that's their duty. They're supposed to do that. But today we have the constitution which is only giving powers to the president. If the president still, I appointed you as a chief justice, are you going to take me to court? Well, I appointed you as an inspector general of police, are you going to arrest me if I steal?
Well, under the law in Zambia, the constitution gives power to the
president.
to the judges to rule without being interfered.
But today,
that's what's on paper.
Today, no, that's what it was on the paper. It is just on the word of the mouth, but it doesn't. It's not put into practice.
So what do you think is the cause? Why that is
the system? We have weaker system in Zambia. We have a weak system in Zambia. Weaker policies.
Okay.
We need to put powers to the institutions,
yes,
so that when you are a judge, if I steal as a president, or maybe I do something which has involved corruption, you should take me to court. And
are you saying right now they're not being arrested? The politicians and everybody?
If you are, it's those who are in opposition. Those are the people we can see on the public domain, that this one, they have been arrested. Not those who are in power. We had the issue of medicine, yes, under the Minister of Health.
Yes.
Nothing happened. We had the issue of the local government minister buying ambulances, and that case, it has died naturally like that. No one is talking about it. But okay, if I'm Chishimba Kambwiri, because I'm from the previous regime, they will arrest me.
Okay. Without dwelling so much on that, we are running out of time. So I just want you to air your last word regarding the legacy of Kaunda, just under a minute, and you can also give it over to Fredrick as well.
What I can say to the Zambian people, especially to my youths, on this particular day, on the 24th of October, we need to gather as the youths and sing one song, which is One Zambia, One Nation. And as we are proceeding into the next elections, next year, 2026, let us work together as citizens. We don't want conflict. We don't want war. Peace belongs to us. Peace belongs to the youths of Zambia. One Zambia, one nation. Thank you so much.
The last remarks to my fellow Zambians, to my fellow youths of Romawat, I would say, as we are commemorating the independence of our nation and in the remembrance of our KK, because he was a man of dignity and he was a man he was a man who had a Pan-Africanism spirit. So I would say, let us just unite ourselves, let us just respect, let us just celebrate ourselves, this independence, let us avoid violence, let us refuse to be used as a tool of violence, but rather as a tool to unite Zambia and forge ahead. That's what I would advise my fellow young people of Romawat. Thank you very much.
There you have it, Zambians. This has been the Tete a Tete with me, your host, Sir Kellison. Talking to this gentleman has been a pleasure to me. Thank you so much for those points and for that thing. Thank you so much. Until next time, watch the space.